Tracy Bolt. I'm registrar here at Stevenson University. On behalf of my staff, we would like to wish you a huge congratulations on what you've accomplished during your time. We're excited to see you on graduation day walking across the stage and receiving your diploma. In preparation for this video will show you all the things that you need to know to get ready for graduation, both prior to the ceremony, during the ceremony, and afterwards. This video will be posted on our Commencement website, along with a list of FAQs that you will find helpful. So to start off our discussion of what we're going to talk about, let's look first at your cap and gown. Now, surely by this time you have ordered your cap and gown through the bookstore. If you have missed ordering it, it can be ordered online, but students are already coming in picking up their caps and gowns. So I have a bag here that would be just like what you would have taken out of your bag when you get your cap and gown at the bookstore. I'm getting ready to hold it up, and hopefully you're going to be able to see one of the problems with it. Now, you are not right here close to me, but if you were close enough, you could see that the person who picked up their cap and gown and put it on just like this has not bothered to iron it. So this may be the last thing you could convince a parent or significant other to do for you as you're getting ready to graduate from college, but please iron it, because for future years to come, there'll be 3 people who've walked across the stage and their cap and gown looks great. There you come with it out of the bag, and one day someone is going to say, "Mom or Dad, why didn't you iron your cap and gown?" So ironing your cap and gown on a low setting does a lot to make things look really good on that particular day. The second part of your cap and gown is the actual hood, and I will hold it up like this. The hood gives you information about the degree that you're obtaining, whether bachelor's or master's. And then on the inside of it, you can see the colors of Stevenson, the green and the white. The hood is very difficult in some respects to put on. But one of the things I want to point out about the hood is there is this tie. The hood will go over your head, and this tie comes closest to your neck, and then you will want to either hook the hood to your zipper that's in your cap and gown, or you can also safety pin it. The purpose of hooking it or safety pinning it is if you don't, when you go to sit down and you sit on your hood, it feels like it's going to crawl up your face because you're pulling on it. So that goes on, and then we turn back the outside so that when you come down the aisle, you'll be able to see your Stevenson colors. If you're a graduate student, you will not come through with your hood on. When you get to the side of the stage where you will process up, you will be given your hood laid across your arms in a certain way. Then when you are up on the stage, you will actually be hooded by the program coordinator of your particular department. So graduate students are hooded in a completely different process, and it also is to recognize the significant accomplishment that they have made. The final thing to think about is your hat. In the old days, it used to be called a mortarboard. You can look in front of your hat and tell what's the front and what's the back. Now, one of the things I'm going to point out to you, and I don't know if you can see it very well, is these hats are not perched on the back of your head. Mortarboards are supposed to be put flat on top, and so you ladies can certainly figure out the bang issue, but perched on the back of the head quite honestly looks a little ridiculous. So you be careful and wear your hat the appropriate way. Now, when you gather before the ceremony in Knot Hall 101, my staff will be there and will be helping you get all these things adjusted. Now, you also will have your tassel that will go on to the top of your hood. You have, as you ordered your cap and gowns, you will get a very special tassel, and it will be embossed with a Stevenson University seal. The tassels are not cheap. If you lose it, to replace it is quite expensive. They will have some available in the bookstore, as long as also the mortar boards, but I would strongly encourage you to take good care of it and don't lose it. When you first put it on, that tassel is going to be on the right side, and then after you walk across the stage and graduate, it's moved to the left side because you have left college. So these are the three components of the actual garb that you will be wearing. But then I also get asked the question, what should you be wearing underneath the garb? Now, needless to say, it's going to be some type of clothes, so let me address it rather specifically. Ladies, what you're going to be wearing, you can certainly wear dark pants, dress, whatever you prefer underneath that, because you will not, the robes are not see-through, so it doesn't matter the color of your dress. One of the things that we always find very enjoyable sitting on the stage is the choice of shoes that women choose to wear. Quite honestly, if the speaker's a little bit boring, we've been known, platform party is to watch the shoes going across. Hopefully no one has ever fallen, but if you want your chance to shine when it's a very dull black robe, it's a great chance to go shopping for shoes. Gentlemen, you are expected to wear also dark pants, dark slacks, preferably no blue jeans. You do not have to wear a tie with a dress shirt. You certainly can, but your tie will not show. Also, we ask that you wear dark shoes. Certainly, flip-flops or tennis shoes are not appropriate for an official ceremony such as this. One final thing to talk about with your hat or mortarboard, it has become the practice that students like to get creative with what they put on their hats, and I've seen this increase in the last few years. There are some specific rules to that. On the top of your mortarboard, as long as it's flat and it's not sticking up, you can bedazzle that thing to your heart's content, as long as anything you put up there is in good taste. For example, if you put Mom across the top, I love Mom, and it's flat, that works for us and we're happy for you to do that. However, if you put on your mortarboard things that are hanging down the side like Christmas tinsel, that's going to have to go. Or if you put something on top that sticks up above your mortarboard, that's going to need to go also, because in essence it's blocking the view of the person behind you. So no bows down the back, nothing hanging along the side, and that does include Christmas lights. We had to remove those one time, or anything sticking up above the top. If you decorate your hat and don't follow these guidelines, we will have to ask you to remove your hat, and we'll have a stand-in hat for you. So please follow those guidelines for us. Now, as far as what else you may wear on your graduation robe, you may wear honor cords only if they are official university-sponsored honor societies. So if it's any other than the official approved university list, you may not wear any cords or sashes associated with them. On our Commencement webpage, you will also see posted there a link of which ones are the official approved university societies. Also, of course, this is kind of a given. You would not wear flowers or anything along those lines on your cap and gown. So just to touch base then, as at the beginning when you are coming in and are seated, one of the very first things that we do have is the invocation or a moment of reflection and the national anthem. Gentlemen, I want to remind you that during those two things, the national anthem and the moment of reflection, proper etiquette is to remove your cap. So please make sure you remove that. You'll notice those on the stage party who have theirs on will take it off. Then when you are seated, you would put your mortarboard back on. Women, you are allowed to leave caps on during that time. So this has got you dressed. You know how to do that. So now I want to talk about your arrival to the ceremony and then how the procession works. We want you to arrive at least 45 minutes prior to the beginning of the ceremony. And after you arrive, you're going to go to Knot Hall 101. And there you're going to pick up your name card, and I'll talk about that in just a little bit. Please do not be one of those people who are standing down in the quad 10 minutes before the the procession is supposed to start and we're having to round you up. Will we start without you? Unfortunately, yes, we will. So please be cognizant of 45 minutes before the ceremony begins. You should be in Knot Hall 101. Now, when you get to Knot Hall 101, laid out on a table, you're going to find a card that will have your name on it. And if you flip it over on the back, you will also see a number. Every school that graduates, the cards are colored differently for the school. So you may have, if you're at maybe the School of Humanities, you might have a blue card. School of Sciences might be yellow. On the back, as I said, is the number. So you're going to line yourself up with your card wherever your number happens to fit. Now, one point to remember, if you're a blue card in a sea of yellow cards, that should tell you that you're in the wrong section. So you'll be picking up your cards, and these will stay with you through the graduation ceremony until you present them to the name reader. When you come to our office to pick up your graduation tickets, and I will talk more about them in just a minute, one of the things we will ask you to do is to say your name. Some folks have names that are a little bit more challenging to pronounce than others. So you will actually say your name to one of my staff members, and we will write the phonetic spelling of your name on the card. The deans will be given this, and so then they will have an opportunity to pronounce your name correctly, because it's important for you to be awarded this honor of a name well pronounced. If you are one of the graduate professional students and your tickets will be mailed to you, you may contact one of my staff members. Her name is Pam Daniels in the registrar's office. Our general number is 443-334-2206, and ask for Pam. You can give her your name over the phone because you will not have had an opportunity to come in and pick up tickets. That's many of you, even in the graduate school, live out of state. When you get to campus, then on graduation day, you're going to come to Knot Hall 101. One of the things, though, you need to do before you arrive at Knot Hall is to leave your umbrellas if it's raining, like it was last spring, coats, pocketbooks, anything along those lines. Please leave it with your family members. Although we do collect everything that's left in Knot Hall and bring it to the registrar's office, it's a lot easier. So anything that you don't want to carry around with you, please leave it with your family members. One of the things at that point you will also want to do before you leave your family members is to discuss with them where you will meet up with them after the ceremony. There will be probably close to 1,800 people there, and it's impossible to find each other when everyone has on a black robe and a mortarboard. So you may want to decide ahead of time and tell your family members, let's meet upstairs in the quad between the two buildings or wherever. It just makes it a lot easier for family when they're not desperately searching for you to make additional pictures. Now, you are all in line, you're in Knot Hall, and you will have marshals, and these are student marshals, who will lead you to the actual gym. If it's not cold and rainy, then we will go outside and go down the steps between the Student Union Building and the Dawson Academic Center. If it is a typical cold and rainy day, then you will be led inside to the gym. What will happen is that you will pause at the end of the gym door, because in the processional going in, the graduates will be the first ones to enter the gym. Your marshals will lead you. So they're going to set the pace for however you're going to move. It will not be one of those sprints that sometimes you see on movies where people are get out of sync, but the marshals will be leading you. They will lead you up to the first row, and the marshals will stand there and count off. Generally, there is usually 15 seats in the front row. So your marshal will be counting, and when they get to person 15, then of course they're going to direct you to the second row. The problem is why you can't count yourself is because we're having on those gowns, you can't see actually if there is a seat available to you. So if your marshal says, move on down a little bit, you need to trust our marshals. I've made them practice counting, so you will not have any trouble following them. You will continue standing until all the graduates are in, the faculty come in next, and those on the stage party actually are the final group. At that point, Dr. Lack, the Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs, will go to the podium and will invite the person that will be singing the national anthem and also the person doing the moment of reflection to come. You will still be standing through this whole part. You're not going to sit down until Dr. Lack says to all of us, please be seated. Now at this point too, I should have maybe mentioned it a little bit earlier. Please don't bring gum into the gym simply because you don't want to catch yourself walking across the stage chewing on chewing gum for future posterity to see. Now as you're in the gym, the invocation has been given, the national anthem has been sung, and you're all seated. So we're in good shape now. So this time now there's going to be some speakers, there will be some awards given, and then finally the time that you are probably most looking forward to will be the time where Dr. Lack will say, by the power invested by me in the state of Maryland and the Board of Trustees, I now present candidates for degrees, which at that point means we're really getting to the point you came forward to. Now your names are going to be read by the dean of your school. So when we're looking at schools, the very first group, however, though, is going to be the graduate school, since graduate students, those who have earned master's degrees, will go first. Your two marshals, one on each end, will come and stand beside your row. One will be on the side closest to the stage, and one will be on the side toward the middle of the aisle. This is really important. What you need to do is watch your marshals, because the marshals are going to stand you up as a row. And generally what they'll do, and you can watch them kind of their hand signals, they will do 1, 2, 3, and will raise the row. If you're paying attention, it looks really smooth, it looks professional, it doesn't look sloppy, and we don't want anything looking sloppy about your graduation. When you leave your seat, you will take that name card with you, because once you head up the steps and get to the top of the steps where the podium is, you're going to hand your name card to the dean that is reading the names for that school. That's how the dean is going to know what to say. Now, if you leave your name card in your seat, I've seen students have to lean over and whisper in the ear of the dean to identify who they are, which says to everybody in the audience, you forgot your name card. Well, you're not going to forget your name card. So let's say I'm the dean and you're standing right to my left side, and I say your name, Susie Smith, magna cum laude. Susie, you are not going to start walking across the stage until your name is read. I don't want you to be at the point where you're shaking the president's hand when we're just getting your name out. You deserve your moment in the sun to walk across the stage, so it's really important. Wait until the dean reads your name, and then you can process. When you get to the middle of the stage, the president will be there, and he will hand you your Stevenson University diploma and shake your hand. There is nothing in the diploma. You will receive your actual printed diploma about 3 weeks or so after graduation. But you keep your cover with you. You will take it home with you. We will mail your diploma to you in a padded, protected envelope. Now, when you have walked across the stage and get to the other side, that's when you're moving your tassel from right to left, because you will have left college. You will walk down the steps, and there will be a professional photographer there taking a semi-formal portrait of you standing between the two flags. There will also be, at the spot where you shake the president's hand, there will be a photographer down there on the floor who will capture that moment. This is not the opportunity. You are not styling for a shot for glamour. You'll be shaking the president's hand. You don't need to turn and face the stage, face the audience, and then you'll just go on off the stage. If everybody stopped and waved to their family members or took selfies, which happened, it would take forever for graduation. So do it in a graceful way. The color of a card reflects a particular school. So if there have been all these yellow cards and then you were the first colored card on, let's say you're the first pink one right after that. When you were the first card after a different color, that signalizes a break. And so a new dean is going to come up to the platform, to the podium, and announce, I am Dean Kraft. I will read the names of the candidates for degrees in the School of Education. So if you're the first person who's holding a different colored card, then you're going to need to pause just a little bit and let that transition between deans take place. When you walk across the stage, you've moved your tassel, you've had your picture made, you will go back and sit down. Please, you do not need to remain standing for the entire row because there'll be people behind you who will want to be able to see. So please go back, sit down, and enjoy watching the rest of the ceremony. Now on the recessional now and the reception, when everybody has graduated, when lots of hand clapping and hugging and all that good stuff has happened, the last thing that needs to happen is there's going to be a recessional, which means you will actually leave. Now y'all are going to be the last leaving. The platform party, which you'll find me on the platform, we go out first, led by Dr. Lack. The faculty come out second, and then you will be the third group that will come out. So you're going to have two marshals in front of you that will start leading you, and then there will be two marshals that will following up the end. We are not going to allow any family members to leave yet because we have got to get all of y'all out of the gym. You will leave the gym, turn to the left, walk in front of the bookstore, and go out all the sets of double doors right there that open into the area between the Dawson Academic Center and the gym. I cannot tell you how absolutely critical it is that you don't stop right there as you get ready to go out the gym. It creates a traffic jam. When you think about it, about 2,000 people are trying to get out of that gym. And if you just stop right there, then we've got another 1,800 people will not have anywhere to go. So we will have some hosts out there who will be directing you on up the steps. So it would be a huge help for y'all to go ahead and just move on up the steps and then meet up with your family members upstairs at that pre-assigned location. Afterwards, there will be, I think, some juice and coffee and some light things to drink after the reception. After everybody goes out, if you wanted to go back down to the gym and make some more graduation pictures with family and friends, then it's certainly open and you will be able to do that. The other thing you may want to remind your guests, if any of y'all have had classes on the Green Spring campus, you know that cell service is awful. So if your parents or family members came first in one car and they're trying to tell another family member in another car where to meet up, they can't get through. And you know that as well. So get these kinds of things settled before they come to campus, simply because it's too frustrating and people get anxious. The ceremony will start whether everyone is there or not, and we know that things often happen. There can be delays on the Beltway. What will happen for family members if they are late, the procession line is entering the gym about 5 minutes before the ceremony. So once we have the processional started, family members and guests will be held back until the entire procession is in and everyone is seated. So I really encourage you and ask you to make sure your family members allow enough time so that they're not caught at the last minute not being able to get into the gym. The same for you as graduates. There may be at times something happens, there's a wreck on the Beltway, and you're just running late, and we are already in the gym by the time you come to campus. If you would just go to the back door of the gym, there will be some staff members there, and they will escort you in and get you seated. It may not be right where you would be seated, but as your school gets up to graduate, and you can tell by the color of the card, then you can just slide over there and get in line with them. Now let's talk about tickets. Everybody has to have a ticket, certainly not the graduate. Students are given 5 tickets. If a toddler, a baby in a bucket is what I refer to them in our house, they all need seats simply because they take up a seat. So you may want to think carefully about who you give your tickets out to, because the limit is 5, and yes, small children, babies also will need a ticket. Now, you say, but I've got 10 people who want to come. Well, we offer another option that they can see the ceremony and enjoy what's happening with y'all. We stream live the graduation ceremonies across in the theater. Actually, the theater is used fairly much. There you can have as many guests as you want to in there. If you have someone who has some health issues, who can't sit for 2 hours on stadium seating with no back, or the chairs on the floor get very hard, it's very comfortable in the theater. If you have children that might get a little restless, that's a good place for them, so it's easier to get out. There's also bathroom facilities right there. So families who've watched it in the theater have always said it's a really good experience. So if you have more than 5 guests, they can always go to the theater and then enjoy what's happening with you there, but not have to have a ticket. We also are broadcasting it live, so if you've got family members in some other part of the United States or the world, they can go to our Commencement tab on the web page and see the live feed, and they will get to watch it with you. Some of you have family members who are in a wheelchair or a walker, and we will reserve seating for them. The person that you would contact is Lisa Lebrecht. She is in conference services, and if you can't remember her name and you would just want to call contact conference services and ask for Lisa, she will put their name on the list. Now, when we reserve a chair for someone in a wheelchair or on a walker, we only reserve 1 other family member with them. So we don't reserve 5 entire seats for each family. We set aside a fairly good sized section for handicapped who need assistance. So what these folks will need to do is you will need to call and reserve a spot with Lisa in conference services for your family member who needs special assistance. There is on the website special information that talks about this some more on the commencement page, information for guests. Now, this is something I want to talk about, and we're getting close to the end. I know you're probably getting a little tired, but I want to talk about commencement etiquette. And this will be some of the things especially to share with your family to make it a little bit easier for them. Parents will need to be prepared to show their graduation tickets on the outside door of the Manuzak Center. So even before you can come in the lobby, they're going to be asked to show their tickets. When they go down the hall and get to the main doors to go into the gym, at that point, we'll collect the tickets. So if a person in the family has all the tickets for somebody and not all the parts of the family are there, they will have to wait outside until all the family members are together and each get their tickets. When your family members come in and sit down, we really request that they come to the inside of the rows wherever they're going to sit. I know everybody wants to get that outside seat, but every single seat will be taken. And so that will mean people will be having to climb around other people to get to those seats. So it's a great help if you would do that. It is really important. We want family members to cheer when your name is being read, but there are times, to be honest, some family members sort of get carried away. They get carried away to the point that when the next person's name is trying to be read, their name can't be heard. And that's a real disappointment for that person and that family, because they deserve the same sort of honor and respect of what you've earned. So would you, if you have family members that tend to get carried away, would you please remind them to be considerate of the graduate that's going to be walking behind you. So we will put up a rope stanchion at the end of all the seats for where the graduates are sitting to keep them from doing that. They'll have lots of opportunities to get pictures. You can buy pictures, but we must ask family members to please not come up and try to get right in the face of graduates to take these. As I said, cell phones don't work on Stevenson. So if your family members are trying to connect with each other, please let them know that they're not going to be able to find you or find other people because of that. At the end, we're asking all the family members to remain in their seats until all of y'all get out. And so you can encourage your family members to say yes, they're going to ask you to wait. When you enter the Manuzak Center, when you exit the gym in the Manuzak Center, if you need an elevator, you turn to the right. Otherwise, you'll turn to the left and follow the rest of the crowd out. Now, just a few general ideas about graduation. I often ask students, what does walking across the stage and getting one of these mean? And some have said, well, it means you graduated. And I said, no, it really means that you only walked across the stage. Walking across the stage and getting a green cover does not graduate you. On the day that the ceremony takes place, I will not even have all your final grades in. So it is very possible, although you're walking across the stage, there might not be a course you would have passed. So we are not in the business of pulling people out of graduation lines because, as I said, a walk across the stage does not confer graduation. Now, after that next week and all grades are in, then we will do a review of your record and then decide if you've met all criteria for graduation. And we will put that indication on your transcript. It will have a graduation block on it. And then, of course, on your diploma. Now, we actually print our diplomas in-house, and they're a beautiful diploma. It's very professionally done. And on that would certainly have your name, your Bachelor of Science, your major, if it was biology, and then if you graduated with any honors. Honors are divided between cum laude, which are Latin honors with honor, 3.5 to 3.69, magna cum laude, 3.7 to 3.89, and summa cum laude, 3.9 to 4.0. You're also marked in the graduation program with little asterisks denoting any honors that you will have earned. But I must remind you, since that program had to be printed before we knew your final grades for the semester, the GPA that is calculated on is based on your GPA at the end of last semester. But your final transcript and your final diploma itself will actually have your real graduation honors on that. How will you know when your record has been processed? In WebExpress under Academic Profile, click on the page My Profile, and down at the end you will be able to see if your record has been reviewed and your degree has been awarded. In about 3 weeks from now, you will have an opportunity to receive your diploma. It will be in the mail. If you foresee that you are moving, then please make sure you contact the registrar's office so we have the right address to send it to you. More than anything, we want this to be a great day for you. It's a wonderful time to reflect of your accomplishments and years in the future to look back that, yes, I earned a degree from Stevenson University. If we can help at any time prior to graduation, don't hesitate to contact the registrar's office and we'll answer anything that you need or provide any assistance that you need. Thank you for listening to this video, and congratulations.